All right, ladies and gents, hope you are well. Ryan Bluebone with you here. Just thought I'd jump on live. I'm enjoying going on live with you guys. It's easier to just go live and just talk about arm wrestling because there's so much going on at the moment. And I figured I'd catch up with you guys. So, good afternoon to you if you're in Australia like I am. If you're in the USA, you're probably asleep right now. So, I'm probably going to be catching only the very late people in the USA. All the people that are fans of Derek Smith are probably well and truly asleep right now. Derek Smith himself's probably asleep. There's a bunch, but welcome if you are from the USA. Welcome as you come on in. Europe might just be waking up. We might start to get that Arm Wars crowd just waking up. First is Jay. Man, is that like Jay from Men in Black? He was just known as Jay. I remember that. But anyway, welcome as you come on in. Guys, I thought we'd just jump on live. Hello, Palin. How are you, brother? Good to see you here, man. Thought we'd jump on live and we just talk about what's going on because there's been heaps happening. We got Arm Wars. Guys, I'm going to ask you a first question. How is the audio on this one? Last time, the audio was peaking a little bit too high. So I've changed a few settings this time around. Hopefully, we're not peaking too high this time. Hopefully, we are switched and just nice and clean and all good. But good to see you guys as you're coming in. Grip and Rip. Setup looks great. Thanks, man. Grip and Rip. Kyle Howarth there from WA. Good to hear you're doing well, man. Audio's good. Sounds fine. Sounds good. Audio's good. Beautiful. I want to hear a little bit. This live. I know I went live and talked about Derek before, but this live I'm going to spend a whole lot more time reading the comments and chatting with you guys because there's a whole lot more than just Derek going on. I know that Jordan Davis. Oh my goodness, Jordan Davis. Alex McDonald says, "How long till I get a smoke machine?" You never know. I might get a smoke machine. Smoke machine and lasers for announcing athletes in will be something that I might do. Yeah, I'm really tempted. Shannon K says, "Can anyone join the April Queensland Over the Top tournament?" Yeah, I think they can, man. It's more than welcome. Anyone is welcome to join it. Sixth Anomaly says, "I'm not wearing pants. Good on you, brother. Glad you're living life to the max." So one of the most interesting things for me that I'll dive straight into straight away is Arm Wars. I've had a lot of people messaging me saying, "Ryan, where do we watch the Arm Wars? Where do we see the Arm Wars?" Okay, guys, we're gonna have to all be really, really, really patient. Arm Wars, Iron House Arm Wars has taken place. It has. It's taken place, and no one knows the results. All the athletes over there are signing secrecy contracts and agreements, and no one knows the results other than the people that were in that room, which is only a handful of people, athletes, supporters, and they're all going to be doing their absolute best to keep their mouths shut. However, Neil has released a teaser. If you haven't seen that, head on over to that Arm Wars channel, that new Arm Wars channel. There is a teaser there. Actually, it might have been on Neil's Supernatural Strength channel. Either way, it's on one of those two channels. There is a teaser out there of a whole bunch of the matches, and it looks friggin' awesome. It's interesting they're giving us a teaser. I can't help but speculate on what I've seen, and I saw one wink. I saw a big wink from my good friend Jordan Davis. Tells me a lot. That wink tells me a whole lot. I haven't spoken to Jordan. Haven't spoken to anyone. Like I said, none of the athletes are giving out any information at all. But you can do your best to try to read a situation, can't you? And we saw what we saw it like in respect to the match that I'm most interested in. How did Jordan go? You can see that Neil showed us one start with Stoica, Bogdan Stoica, that is from Romania, and we just saw him slip, and then we saw him yell at each other. So we know that Jordan's fired up. We know that Stoica's a top roller. We know that Jordan's a top roller. We know that Jordan was fired up. Normally, fired up Jordan wins, in my experience. If he's that fired up, he normally wins. So I can only guess that meant good things. And of course, winners were taking on winners, losers were taking on losers. We didn't see any footage of Froda. I don't know how Dallas and Froda went. But we do see Dallas and Jordan. So that either means Dallas and Jordan are both winners or Dallas and Jordan are both losers after their first round. People saying in the comments his match with Dallas didn't look the best. Oh my goodness, you're getting that wrong. You're getting that read wrong. I'm really liking what I saw from Jordan. Jordan, and one of the major reasons was that wink. Jordan doesn't wink unless he's in control. I've seen Jordan do that wink before, and it's the wink. It's like the smile from Frodo. Smile and nod from Frodo means something. That wink from Jordan to the camera, he doesn't do that unless he's in control. And Jordan rarely makes the mistake of making that wink and then losing. So I saw Dallas with like really strong center table. He looked awesome. His arm looked strong. He clearly had center table, but when he tried to press, he couldn't. His hand was getting rotated. And of course, Jordan Davis's main weapon is his hand control. It's not his arm power. It's his hand control. It's his rotation. So when you go to press Jordan, and your wrist goes, um, when it does that, that prevents you from being able to finish. And it was after all of that that Jordan gave the camera the wink. So I'm pretty excited for Jordan. Like I said, we don't know whether he and Dallas were the two winners or he and Dallas were the two losers. We don't know. But the fact that Jordan's winking against Dallas Langston is a promising sign for Australian arm wrestling. So that I got a lot of hope. Jordan Davis, that he's cleaned up the whole lot. But like I said, we don't know. We're not going to know when we get to find out. As far as I'm aware, it's going to take, unfortunately, a number of weeks, maybe even a month or two, to see all these matches. I don't know. Again, I don't know. All I know is they're putting in huge effort into the production of these. Post edit is intensive, and subsequently, we're going to probably get a match every maybe week or two. And there's a lot of matches, maybe 10 matches plus at least. So if you're lucky, the match that you're waiting for is going to come out next week. If you're unlucky, the match you're waiting for might come out in 2 months' time. Yeah. Toronto Muscles asks, any chance you and Marcus will pull a ready go again soon? I'm actually really keen. I'd love to pull Marcus in a genuine ready go where there's money on the line. I know Marcus is keen always for starts. He wants to pull anyone and everyone. Marcus and I had a great match when we just had that training super match. I'd like to pull Marcus again. I'm always down for pulling Marcus. I'd like to pull some other people as well. I'd love to pull Brett Coots. I recently, obviously, you guys know I'm going to be hosting a card on February 11, February 12 here in Australia, February 11 for the USA that I'll be watching. And I have invited Brett Coots. I've invited Ryan Scott. I've invited Mario Tembarkis. All those guys unable to make it or able to pull me. Ryan Scott's kind of trapped his state. He wouldn't be able to return to his state if he came to my state. Stupid rules over there. Brett has got another match on with a different opponent, and so he can't. And Mario's got work or something crazy. I don't know. Either way, I'm keen for a match. But yeah. Performance enhancing pancakes says wait 1 week from today, ? Or wait 1 week from like 2 months from now. 1 week from today, performance enhancing pancakes is when I anticipate the first match to be dropped. Like I said, I don't know which match or what order it's going to go in. Neil will no doubt make a call on that. He'll probably pick a good match. One of the matches that was a screamer. He'll probably pick that. That Jordan Davis Dallas Langston match did look good. So I just want to see how Jordan went. That's my that's my personal thing. Alex McDonald, Brett Coots, I believe he's pulling Adam Laura. Adam Laura, who's ranked like 11, 12, 13. He's pulling, Adam Laura from New South Wales, Sydney Club. Solid puller. Thomas Miles asks, can I defeat Brandon's Queen's move? I think I can. I think Brandon's a really strong dude, but I have the game plan and experience. I think I'd be able to out-confuse Brandon on his King's move. But yeah, we'll see. We got a bigger hurdle coming up. Listen, I'm really hopeful that Jordan Davis has done an outstanding job and achieved everything that Australia's been hoping for and dominating his division. As Everett Duncan comes in with a super chat. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Everett Duncan. He says, Mr. Blue, what is next for Lockie? That's a good question, man. I'll get Lockie in here over the next few weeks to just have a chat with you all and sit here like this and just catch up with him. But as my understanding goes, what's next for Lachlan is he wants to have a few matches here in Australia. He'd like to shore up his number one rank, make it unequivocally correct. He wants to pull Matt Tarangi, hit the Morris from New Zealand. Matt Tarangi is by all rights. Matt Tarangi is the current Oceanic champ. He beat Lachlan in 2018. So Lachlan would love to pull Matt Tarangi. He'd love to pull Brett Coots. He'd love to pull Ben Carroll. Those are the two matches that really Lachlan still has available to him that updates his story, at least here in the Southern Hemisphere in the Oceanic region. Matt Tarangi is very keen for a match as well. And but again, it's a matter of Matt Tarangi can come to Australia right now, but I don't know if he can get back to New Zealand without ridiculous rules and quarantine. I don't think he's vaccinated, so he would get. He might not even be able to travel. I don't know. You'd have to apply for a whole heap of stuff, so it's not simple. But Lachlan and I will be training together very shortly. Since Lachlan's return from the USA, I actually haven't caught up with him in person. We've chatted on the phone a bunch, but haven't caught up with him in person. So he and I will be training together soon. In my preparation for my Rob match, obviously, Lachlan's going to be really critical to helping me develop just that strength that I need. I'm going to really work in the zones that I think are the zones I need most. I'm going to get Lachlan to hold me there in those nasty zones, and I'm just going to work hard. So that's what's kind of next for Lachlan. Good question, Everett Duncan. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that, man. Toronto Muscle, can you tell us why Neil points at nothing when he poses? Oh, this one. I don't know how he does it. It's just his thing. I don't know. It's his thing. Coach Ray, the terrible. The rising tide raises all ships, and Bluey's doing good things for all Amherst. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. The tide is definitely rising across the sport right now. People saying this looks so radio. Yeah, guys, I'm only a couple days away from having right here over my right shoulder. It's going to be a pound for pound arm wrestling neon sign. It's going to look badass. It's going to be very, very nice. I can't wait. But yeah, this does have a radio feel. I could put music on for you guys. I can actually do that through here. But then, actually, do I do that? No, I'm not going to bother. I could put music on and actually do it like a radio station. I've got it all rigged up where I could do that, but no, this is an arm wrestling channel. Alex McDonald, why are people talking about Sasha in here? I'm just looking at the comments, just trying to catch up. Matararangi will pull over the top if he's permitted to be here. Yes, Alex McDonald. Oh, there we go. Next, he says, I want to see Sasha Andrea versus Jordan Davis match, just completely opposite pools. Yeah, I do think that Sasha is too strong for Jordan, for sure. Jordan's a promising athlete, and he's going to become a lot of people's favorite athlete after this. If it's gone the way that I think it's gone, which is I think Jordan Davis has just won the Arm Wars Iron House. I mean, I'm just picking up crumbs, but I think he's won. I think Jordan's beaten Stoica Bogdan decisively, like really decisively. That's my guess. I say that because Jordan eats top rollers for breakfast. He makes top rollers feel incredibly comfortable. He makes them believe that they have everything they need to before they go, and then 1 microsecond after they go, he takes it away from them. He's very talented at defeating other top rollers, and Stoica Bogdan is a top roller. And when I saw that little preview from Neil of Jordan just firing up and seeming amazing, I saw what Jordan needs. I know Jordan better than anyone else on earth in an arm wrestling sense. And Jordan, I can tell you right now that I can guess that Stoica Bogdan and I are similar in strength. I think that would be a fair assumption. We're similar. We're in the ballpark. We're similar, Stoica and I. And I can tell you right now, if I attempt to top roll Jordan, it's laughable how easy it is for him to flash pin me. Okay. It's a death sentence trying to top roll Jordan. So Stoica's A game is top roll. Stoica's B game is press. Press also happens to be something that Jordan is very adept at denying, which you saw in that other leaked footage from Neil of Jordan denying Dallas Langston the press. Fairly comfortable. Dallas was trying to press. Jordan says, no, can't press me. Not pressing through me. That was from inside denying Dallas's press. So I think Jordan's won it. I honestly do. That's my call. I think he's won it from just those few breadcrumbs that Neil's given us. Like I said, I think he's won it. I think he's beaten Stoica decisively, and then I think he's had a great war with Dallas. It looked like Jordan was winning off center. Dallas was turning it into the hook. Dallas was then in control of center. He could hold center, but he couldn't finish. Every time he tried to finish, it looked like Jordan was out rotating him, and that was adding up. The bleed was adding up. So then it would have come down to lactic acid. Jordan gets all torqued up on his connective tissue to hold center and or to create resistance against the pin from someone's arm power. And it looked like he was surviving the surges from Dallas on the arm power front. And he wasn't ever trying to take center off Dallas. He was just allowing Dallas to have center because Jordan's a very intelligent arm wrestler. He won't fight a losing battle. And I could see Jordan conceding on the center, acknowledging that Dallas has a stronger arm, but then waiting for Dallas to attack and stopping the match with rotation. Now, after rotation gets bled and bled and bled and bled and bled, the center starts to become a problem for someone like Dallas. And that's where someone like Jordan comes through, not with arm power, but with connective tissue locking in his shoulder and his elbow and his wrist. And from there, that's how Jordan finishes a hook match. Like I said, I've experienced it time and time again. And my guess is that's what's happened. I think decisive victory over Stoica, absolute death war with Dallas, and Jordan's taken it. And oh my goodness, if that is the case, oh man, I'm happy. Man, I'll be happy. Performance enhancing pancake says Ryan should do a video with more plates, more dates. You could do a natty or not for RVJ. Man, I don't know. I'm already pushing the RVJ's buttons pretty hard. I'm pushing them hard and I'm pushing them often. I'm not sure if I want to push them that hard. I would like to have a chat with more plates, more dates on wrist growth and what his opinion is of it. Because RVJ is adamant that wrists can't grow ever. I think he's a lunatic for thinking that. But anyway, maybe more plates, more dates would be interested in that topic. I don't know. I'm not buddies with Derek, so I don't know. Line it up. If you are, hit me up. Alex McDonald asked, "Do you think Bogdan beat Frode?" Well, Bogdan and Frode pulled last Arm Wars, fresh, and Bogdan won that 4-3. But it was really controversial. Remember, if you saw that final round, Frode pinned Bogdan, but then they allowed a restart, an incorrect ruling in my recollection, which Bogdan then won the incorrect restart, the restart that should never have happened. So Frode got unlucky. So Frode would have looked for revenge, but I think Bogdan would have won it. The reason I say that was because I think Jordan Davis beat Bogdan decisively, and I suspect Dallas got dug down in a war with Frode. So if Dallas got dug down in a war with Frode and won a long grinding battle, Frode would have been pretty beat up. And if Stoica got beaten decisively by a nasty top rolling Jordan Davis, then I think Stoica would have been more fresh going into that match, and Stoica would have probably got the win. So I think Stoica, as much as Frode probably had the heart to get the revenge, I think Stoica probably got it if that was the case. But like I said, we don't know. We don't know yet, do we? We really don't know. We've just been teased. Now, like I said, a lot of people are asking when. The answer again on the when is I don't personally know, but from last event, I think it takes about a week for James Statham to edit each one. And there's 10 plus matches. So we're talking 10 plus weeks. What up, Blue, says Seth Dixon. Good to see you here, brother. John David, Derek Smith v. Lockie. Look, Derek Smith v. Lockie, I think would be a solid match for sure. Derek Smith would be the favorite after what he's just put on today. But honestly, for Derek Smith, I want to see him aim up again. He's earned the right to continue aiming up. After today's performance, he doesn't need to pull a Lachlan or a Corey West or a Chance. It's funny how, like, honestly, I know Corey West has always been willing to pull any of everyone. Chance has been reluctant to pull any of those other new guys. I know Lachlan would be happy pulling anyone, but travel has been his biggest hurdle. But the thing is, now that Derek has done what Derek has done, I don't think that the Chance Shaws, and less so Corey, because Corey's always been up for it. I don't think Chance Shaw has a right to have a crack at Derek at all. I don't think And I think Corey does have a right to say, "Hey, Derek, let's have a go, you and me." But I don't think the right thing to do for Corey is to challenge Derek. I think Corey should say, "Well done, Derek. On you go, brother. I'll see you when I see you." I don't think Corey should pursue that match. I think for Corey to pursue that match, it's kind of like stealing the thunder that's just been well and hard earned by Derek. Derek's just beaten Tim Breslin, who was ranked fifth in the North American super heavyweight ranks prior to today. He slipped a little now, um, no doubt. I think Derek deserves either Todd Hutchins as a confirmation sort of level. I think he would have a harder time with Todd's style than he did with Tim's. I think Todd is in far better form than Tim as well. I think Todd's in a really good, rich vein of form right now. And so I'd like to see that. But I'm also down for him getting his wish of Dave Chafee. It doesn't matter that Dave is genuinely. Derek earned it today. The fashion in which Derek defeated Tim Breslin today has earned him a place at the table of having a go against the names of Dave Chafee. Dave Chafee would be the favorite, but it's not impossible. I mean, Derek is bringing that Kadecha like value to the table. So I don't think Corey is his next match. If Derek pulls another match and loses, then Corey. But right now, Derek has just done something that earns him the right to continue to climb the ladder. He just stepped on rung number 5 in Tim. He's earned the right to step on number 4, which is, like I said, Todd Hutchins or Dave Chafee. Either one of those two guys, I'm down. Can I talk about Kadecha and Vitali Laletin, which was confirmed today, Alex McDonald? Good question, good topic. Yeah, that's an awesome match. Kadecha and Vitali are going to be facing in April. I think I saw it. It was early April. That is a big match. It is a big match for a lot of reasons. Kadecha's suddenly shot into the realm of being an incredibly promising super heavyweight, someone that people are saying he may be the dude that ultimately chases down and conquers Levan. If that's the case, that's massive, and all power to him. I agree. I see that potential in him, and I see that it has that ability, or he has that ability to potentially even get there simply by his frame and his size and his newness to the sport. There's still a lot of upside in him, and he's a bigger guy than Levan in a frame sense. He's taller than Levan, and he's heavier than Levan in his natural state. So I think that he has all the potential. Now, up against Vitali Laletin, Vitali is taller than Kadecha, so it's going to be hand control is going to be difficult for Alex, but the arm power I believe is there on Alex's side. So I think this is a close match. I don't see it going any other way other than it being a very close match. I think Alex Kadecha has more back pressure than Vitali, but Vitali will have the higher position and subsequently the edge in hand control. The match will probably go towards the victory for Vitali from center, but there may well be a genuine stop, and then they're going to work. I think about 45 degrees down from center, there's going to be a point where the match stops, and there's going to be a battle that happens then and there. Whose wrist will go? Because that point there, the arm power of Alex will be in its groove, and the arm power of Vitali Laletin being slightly inferior is going to start the gas, and he's going to need to rely on taking the hand and wrist more. So, which goes first, Vitali's arm or Kadecha's hand? Which goes worse? It's a good question. I think it's a great match. I think it's the right match for Alex. I think he's deserved that. Vitali Laletin probably, realistically, the genuine number 2 or 3. I'm not going to say either one. He's the top 3, absolutely confirmed. Top 3 in the world is Vitali Laletin. So for Alex Kadecha to get a victory over him will be resounding in his progress, and I think that he has the opportunity and probably is buzzed and excited about it. So I'm cheering for Alex Kadecha because I always just love the new kid on the block in arm wrestling because I relate to them. I relate to the climb. The climb is the fun part. The climb is what we all want to see. It's hard to stay on top and just be the dominant guy. The climb is where it's at. And Alex Kadecha is showing heaps of promise in the climb. So, good match. Good question. Skeptical comes in with a super chat. He says, who do you bet on, Levan or Devon, and how much? Reveal. That's a match that I am not going to bet on. Honestly, I can't be certain. It's a shutout stake for Levan. So, obviously, Levan is the heavy favorite in the match. I if I was going to bet, I'd probably bet on Levan. I think Devon will give it a red hot crack. And look, Devon may get around. I think it's highly unlikely Devon wins the match, but Devon may get around because there is no one more crafty than Devon out there. And he's working in an arena that allows him to be fully that crafty arm wrestler that he is. When I talk about crafty, I talk about manipulations of referees, manipulations of setups, manipulations of straps, manipulations of running fouls, manipulations of restarts. All of those things are possible within the king of the table realm because the rule sets and the refereeing there allows for it. The more rigid the rules, the less likely it is for Devon to get anything. So I don't know is my answer. I wish I could give you an answer. My answer is I will not bet on that match. I'm not certain either way. I'm if it was just a who's going to win match, I'd bet on Levan. But if it's because it's shutout, ooh, man, it's scary thinking that Devon only has to win one to lose that bet. So that's how I see that one. Nashville Arm Wrestling comes in with a $5 super chat. Thank you, man. He says, "What is the last impressive match Dave Chafee has won?" I haven't the slightest idea. Dave Chafee, from memory, he beat Gennady Kvikvinia 5-1, but he donated the last round. That was in 2018. He did it very comfortably. Beat Gennady Kvikvinia very comfortably. Outside of that, let me think. Who else? I mean, what else we got? Dave Chafee was the WAL champion a number of times on the right hand, so beating all of the super heavyweights there. Obviously, he did take a loss to Travis as well. There was one season where he took a loss to Travis, but he's never had a problem. He's never had a problem with Jerry Caderet. He's never had a problem with Devon Larratt until that King's Move episode. So he's been the guy. I mean, he's beaten John Brzenk in 2015. I think he lost to Pushkar, but he had a great war with Denis Saplenkov at the 2015 A1. Don't undersell Dave Chafee, that's for sure. He's a bad dude. A good question, Nashville Arm Wrestling. Thank you very much. Seth Dixon with a $1.99 super chat. No comment, but I appreciate it either way, Seth, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Alex McDonald confirms he's beaten Jerry extremely easy. And Josh Barker says, I'll put 1K on Levan to win. That's a big bet. 1K is a bold bet in a shutout stake. Shutout, just that word shutout makes me nervous for betting. Oh, yeah, and Ian has mentioned that Dave has whacked Dmitry Trubin. Yes, he did. He beat Dmitry Trubin quite significantly. I think Dmitry tore his pec in the third round or something against Dave, but Dave was in cruise control against Dmitry Trubin. And that was probably 2017, I think. Yeah, Dave has had neck and nerve issues, Nashville Arm Wrestling. Thank you for reminding me of that. I wouldn't know that he has or hasn't recovered. We haven't seen a proper season from. Obviously, when he pulled Levan, he got murdered. So it made him look not as good. But it's Levan at the end of the day. I don't know that there's many people that aren't being murdered by Levan right now. And Dave Chafee, I think he was the right man to go through for Levan. Levan, I think, appreciated that match because Levan hadn't pulled any of the North American top three at that time. He hadn't pulled Devon or Michael or Dave, and so he got Dave first. So that was awesome. Seth Dixon asking, you think Davis beat Langston in a hook? I do, man. I did talk about this extensively before, so be able to go back and have a look at it. But I do. I genuinely think Jordan Davis beat Langston in a hook. I think he stopped him on rotation and locked up his shoulder and winked at the camera. That wink is a death sentence for an opponent. I'm yet to see Jordan Davis wink at a camera and then lose. Happens maybe. It's a very big mistake. If Jordan winked at the camera and lost the match, it's a big mistake. But Jordan only winks when Jordan's in control, and he winked. He winked. What more can I say? Is Jordan winked. I've seen that wink, and I've never seen him lose when he winks. So I think Jordan had this rotation stop and went on from there. Yes. Performance enhancing pancake saying Dave has also beaten. He ripped Todd Hutchins' bicep off. Yeah, that's a good point. He's been able to beat Todd Hutchins, no dramas, and yeah, literally damaged his bicep. Were the Arm Wars matches best of 5? No, I believe the Arm Wars matches were 6 round. They're always gonna be 6 round when it comes to Arm Wars. That's Neil's favorite recipe. They go to a silver bullet 7th round if they're in a situation where they need a winner, i.e. a battleground. Skeptical comes in with a super chat. He says, "Do you agree Devon really won the match? Dave versus Devon. Isn't the King's move in that match controversial? Is it okay if two players do that kind of move?" Look, skeptical. Absolutely, Devon won the match as messy as it is, and I'm someone who does agree with you in that it was messy, it was ugly. If we go through it with a fine tooth comb, you could probably find fouls on Devon. You could probably find fouls on Dave too. But here's the thing: Dave is like, if we talk about referee bias, um, there's none towards Devon. If there was going to ever be any referee bias from Bart, it would have been towards Dave. They're like best buddies. They train together. They live together. They're best buddies. Um, and he's the head ref, and he didn't call a foul on anything Devon did. That was the critical moments that Devon got in control. So, as much as, like I said, if we pause it, go through it with a fine tooth comb, we can find things that should have been called fouls, moments that were incorrectly refereed. Um, None of them were called. None of them were called. Devon won. In that respect, Devon won. So I say, yeah, look, it's a win. I was there. I remember watching it. I remember thinking, oh, gee whiz, this is extreme. That was at WF504 where I pulled Alan Guerra. And Devon won. Dave didn't. It's just the way it was. So yeah, it was a win. Josh Barker says Jordan is untouched in Australia around 85 kilos. At 85 kilos, yeah, I agree. That is a sweet spot for him. Look, Jordan Davis and I are the same weight right now. We're both 94 kilos. I don't think Jordan wants to go down to 85 kilos again. I think he's happy in the 90s, probably wants to continue to move up. And I think he should too. I think he should. I would love a match with Jordan Davis at some point. I've offered it to him a few times. He said not yet. So I like I said, I'm someone who knows Jordan Davis quite well, so I know where that little lane is that works. A lot of people like Stoica. If you try to top roll Jordan, you're just gonna lose. It's really the case, unless you're a really short arm top roller with amazing fingers. But if you're another semi tall top roller with a balanced sort of threat like Stoica was, I think Jordan Davis destroys. Yeah. All right, just have a look at some of the comments again. Josh Barker says, "Oh yeah, I'd have you favorite at 95 just based on your ability to adjust." Yeah, I like I said, I'm only favorite over Jordan because I know Jordan well. Um, Jordan is an amazing athlete, incredibly intuitive. He's a control based athlete. He's not a power based athlete. He's purely about control and taking away your access to power. That is his biggest weapon. He has a phenomenal hand, and he uses it as good as it can be used. And I think, like I said, I know it's a very interesting lane that I pulled Jordan in. It's been a while since I've lost to Jordan. He's beaten me in the past. In 2017, he kicked my ass, but I don't think I've lost to him since. I've pulled him. I've lost to him once on left, but last time I pulled him, I beat him quite comfortably on the left, and last time I pulled him on the right, I beat him quite comfortably. But again, it's only because I know him. So, who would win Pradeep versus Vanilla Gorilla from the great herbivorous gorilla? Man, if it's right now, you'd have to go Pradeep, but Vanilla Gorilla's on the rise, man. He's really on the rise. Do you think Dallas got anything for Frode? I think Dallas beat Frode, William Estrom. I don't know. We haven't seen any footage. The reason I say that is um, because we saw Jordan and Dallas, and I just think Jordan beat Stoica. We didn't see any Dallas and Frodo footage. I hope Frodo was there. I know there was question mark over Frodo because he was in hospital for an infection in his foot in the week before. So I hope Frodo made it first and foremost. I don't know who the replacement was if he didn't, but I hope Frodo made it. Nashville Arm Wrestling says, "Did you see Todd Hutchins' bicep video? If so, what are your opinions on it?" Answer, Nashville Arm Wrestling. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it. But now that you've asked that question, I will go and see it. When I think of Todd Hutchins, the anatomy that he brings to the table, Todd's one of those guys that doesn't have a particularly large bicep relative to the rest of his body. When we compare it to other arm wrestlers out there, like Rob Vigent, for instance, or Lachlan Adair, for instance. But what he does have is an enormously thick forearm. I mean, Todd Hutchins' forearm is just beastly. It's not defined and ripped like a bodybuilder's. It's just thick. Um, and that's cool. That's in its own way incredibly badass. It's nice to have big, bulging bodybuilder type muscles, but having a thick damn forearm and wrist is pretty damn badass as well. Yeah. So, but I'll go watch that one. Thank you very much, Nashville Arm Wrestling, for all that super chat and support. I appreciate it, man. I'll make sure I go and check that one out. K Frog says Derek Smith is going to surprise a lot of people. Yeah, I think he is. Skeptical comes in with another super chat. I don't know what currency that is, man, but I appreciate it. 50 whatevers. Says, will Dennis make a comeback? Can you interview him? I think I would struggle interviewing Dennis. Simply, I don't think we speak a language, common language. I don't think he speaks much English at all, and I certainly don't speak any Russian. So, um, I don't think I'd do very well in that interview. But that said, will he make a comeback? I think he wants to. I think he's seeing enough in the sport at the moment that he has the desire to be there. He wants to be part of it. He wants to keep his story alive. I just don't think that his story is going to be as big as it used to be. I think, unfortunately, his body has taken enough of a beating in respect to steroid use and HGH or whatever else it is. But and he's just too risky to keep going. I don't think he can get back to that same form that he's in. That said, he's always going to be a monster. Could he make top 10 again? Yeah, I think he could. I just don't think he can make top 3. And I don't think he should try. If he tries, he'll probably kill himself. So I don't think he should do that. I hope he doesn't. He's already a legend of the sport. He's already one of the greatest of the sport. He could be debated as the peak of the sport. If you want to argue that, it's a fair argument. I just don't think Dennis should, for his own health's sake, roll that dice again. But yeah, I hope he does make a comeback. I'm sure there's some good matches out there for him. He's got a massively thick hand. I have met Dennis, shaking his hand and gone, yeah, wow, look at the thickness of those fingers. It's something different. Very, very different. Yeah. All right. In your opinion, Ryan, who is a favorite over Hutchins at 100 kilos? Ooh. So if Hutchins is 100 kilos, well, we just saw Hadzimura Zaloyev beat him at 97 kilos. Hutchins, I didn't like Hutchins' performance that day. I thought he had enough to win. He just didn't. So I think that's something that he could get revenge on Hadzimura Zoloev. But you have to say, look, Zoloev at the moment at 100 kilos beats Todd because he just did. So you got to stick with that. Other people at 100 kilos that can beat him. It's a short list, isn't it? It's a really short list at 100 kilos. At 100 kilos, well, he's never had a problem with Krassi. I think he's had wars with Marcio, but I don't think Marcio could even get to 100 really. I think Marcio is fair bit bigger these days. Jordan Sill has beaten him in the past, but not at 100 kilos. It's a bigger Jordan Sill. RVJ's given Todd troubles in the past when they were both 92 kilos. But at 100 kilos, you'd have to say Todd again. The only real answer is the fast guys. Like I was in Moldova when Todd pulled and lost to Prudnik. I think Prudnik could beat Todd again at the same weight. I think that he also lost to Alan Makiev that day. Alan, very fast, 100 kilo puller. So you have to say the guys that bring the speed are the ones that will trouble Todd. And there's only a few of them. There's not many. I'm having a mind blank. Who's the Kazakhstan puller? Who's in the top 8? Oh my goodness, how am I not thinking of this guy's name? Oh my goodness, you guys know who I'm talking about. He's in the top 8. He pulled Levan, did very well against Levan. Had wars with Prudnik last year. Ongabayev, there we go. Just had to talk about him for a bit longer before I got it. Ongabayev, I think, could potentially beat Todd Hutchins as well at 100 kilos. Seth Dixon with a super chat $4.99. He says, "What will be your weight against RVJ? I keep imagining you flip him once you get him off center." Seth Dixon, this match will be at 210 pounds, brother. And that's exactly where I'm sitting right now. I'm really happy. 210 pounds. RVJ's got a long way to come down. RVJ's got to lose like 20 pounds. He's been eating too many donuts and all that sort of stuff. So I think all the confidence in RVJ has, I'm going to watch that drain away from him as he loses weight back down to a genuine middleweight of 210 pounds. I think that 210 pounds is perfect for me. It's my kind of peak weight. I don't think it's too heavy. I don't think it's too light. It's just right for me. And 210 pounds, I can see myself getting control. Uh, I can see myself getting control against RBJ in the straps, getting a stop, making him work, flattening his hand, bleeding his hand, and then if that happens, you'll see a sneaky wink from me, much like Jordan Davis winked against Dallas Langston. And then once that wink's on, it's done. There is no long game for RBJ. He has to win decisively. He won't win the long battle. If it evolves into a long battle, he won't win it. I assure you of that. Thank you for all the people saying on goodbye. I'm now just looking at it. People asking Irakli. I don't think so. No, Irakli lost to Sasha. Okay, remember that Irakli lost to Sasha 5-1 only about 3 months ago. There's no way Irakli's beating Todd. All right. Yes, Levan would crush Todd. Danny Tesh. Oh my goodness. Oh, now we're all just talking nonsense in the comments. I appreciate that, but yeah, yeah. I like asking you guys polls. I'm gonna ask you the question: Who won? Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this question. Uh, we've all seen the teaser from Neil. Who is your money on after having seen that? Let's have a look for it. All right, asking you guys the question now: Who won Iron House in that middleweight battleground? You've all seen the teaser from Neil. Based on what you've seen, who do you think won? Like I said, I don't know when we're going to find out, but um, let me know, who do you think won Iron House based on what you have seen so far? As the votes roll in, we got Jordan Davis so far at 56%. No one picking Stoiker. It's going to upset all the Stoiker fans. Oh, there we go. 5% of Stoiker. Someone's got him. 23% Frode. 23% Dallas. Fascinating stuff. I agree. I agree with all of you guys. On your Jordan Davis. I hope that's the case. Leo Marcus says, I don't think Frode make it. Yeah, there was. I haven't heard one way or the other whether he did, because he was in hospital. Frodo was in hospital a week before with a foot infection. But we saw the fact that we saw Jordan and Dallas against each other. We know that that was the second round, which meant that they either both won or they both lost. Interesting. It's going to be a really interesting weight. I don't know. Like I said, I think that wink, from Jordan, that's all you need to know. He doesn't wink if he's losing. He doesn't wink. He doesn't wink. Sorry, he doesn't wink if he's losing. Ian asks, Ryan, how do you see the East vs West matches going? Your take on Hutchins v Sonev? Man, the East vs West card is like the most phenomenal card in the history of the sport. It's literally, there's never been a bigger lineup of super matches for that. So Hutchins versus Sonev is one of the great ones. I think that Sonev's just a touch too much of an inside puller to be able to beat Todd. I think it's the elite outside guys that trouble Todd most. The European outside pullers, because European outside pullers tend to have an inside game as well. So they have strength at center. They don't need to just rely on taking the wrist like a Matt Mask style. Matt Mask took the wrist, but then Matt Mask didn't have the side pressure. Someone like Prudnik has the ability to take the wrist and has the ability to end it with side pressure. I think Sonev is a little too much of an inside puller to really get the chance. But the rest of the card is freaking phenomenal. The rest of the card is crazy. Like I said, it's the biggest lineup of arm wrestling super matches that I've ever personally seen. And I'm a little sad in advance, because I'm worried that the event's just not going to get the viewership that it deserves. I mean, among arm wrestlers alone, it's it's hugely appealing. We all want to see this matches. I mean, there's so many. I can't wait to commentate it. I will be commentating it. Jake Ward's going to be sitting right next to me right here, Aussie Arm Wrestler. We're going to be commentating it live. Um, it's going to be amazing, but I'm worried that not enough people are going to watch it to make it profitable. I think Core Sports is involved, so the pay per view should be decent in terms of production quality. But events need to be profitable at the end of the day. Dave Chapman and I talk about this extensively. You'll see that video released on Monday on his channel, but it needs to be profitable. I'm worried that it's not. I know Engen Terzi's put a lot of money on the line for that. So anything you can do to support that is awesome. Guys, I'm going to wrap up the poll. You can see 47% of people think Jordan Davis won, 12% Stoica, 22% Froda, and 18% Dallas. I gotta take a photo of that because I think it's freaking awesome, and I just want to show that to Neil later on. All right, we got that, and the poll there. A couple of super chats have rolled in. In the meantime, let me quickly scroll back up and have a look at them. We got one from Skeptical again. Another 50 whatevers. I don't know what they are. Will you go to Dubai, train with Larry, and ask him? Yes, I am obviously going to Dubai for my match with Rob Vigent. I will be booking in my return flight home a week after the event. So I will stay for an extra week and train extensively with Larry. I am going to corner that man and share with him everything I know about slow and passive pressure pulling. I think Larry is a athlete and arm wrestler that is cursed by strength. And when I say cursed by strength, I mean it that he is blinded in the sense that he doesn't see or isn't aware of the value of little tiny movements because he is blinded by his hugely strong fundamental strength. I think Larry will become an exponentially better arm wrestler if he ramps down his pressures to like 30% effort and plays with the little movements and becomes familiar with the little movements. That is what I intend to do in my extra week with Larry in terms of what I can share with him to give him value. But yeah, no doubt there'll be some cool videos that Larry and I do. I can't bench press. I can't deadlift. I have back injuries. I have all sorts of nasty stuff that prevent me from doing that. So it'll be fun, but no. Chris Thomas comes in with a $5 super chat. He says, if Beer Man can do anything against Schoolboy, would you consider going to Canada and doing a super match with him in his own backyard? Chris Thomas, I don't know if you're aware, I have been to his backyard and had a super match with him, and I beat him. I beat him 3-2. It was my favorite match of all time. So would I do it again? Yeah, I would. But I've already done it. Just be aware I've already done it. Go and look it up if you want. Ryan Bowen beat Evan Burgoyne. It's out there on the internet, and I win 3-2 in glorious fashion. But yeah, I'll do it again. All right. Just catching up now. Yeah, 3-2. It was a good score. It was part of the bottom 8 tournament. Juji Mufu was there. Devin Larratt's event. It was awesome. Ultrameter's asking, hey, Ryan, who do you have for the Kadecha versus Laletton? I have to say, we talked about this earlier, but I have to say Laletton's the favorite, but Kadecha may take it. It's one of those matches, again, I wouldn't personally be willing to bet on. The story of each of them is really interesting. It is a big match for Kadecha. He's aiming up. He's got all that momentum. It's a pressure match for Laletton, so he's going to need to perform. But Laletton looks like he's in phenomenal shape. The way he beat Krasimir Kostadinov was just like he wasn't there. So you have to say that Vitali is the favorite. Vitali's obviously hunting Levan. It's good of Vitali to take this match and pull it. Obviously, this is the next round of the top 8. So the winner of this will progress through to the final to meet Levan. We're just assuming Levan's going to make the final, of course, which he will. Let's be honest, he will. He's not going to have trouble with Prudnik or anything like that. So that will be the case on where that match goes. But yeah, I think it's a great match. I think Vitali is the favorite, but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Kadecha does pull off the upset victory. Alex McDonald asked, was I the heavy underdog? Yeah, man, I was ridiculously the underdog when I pulled Evan Burgoyne. So much money in the room was bet on Evan. But yeah, I won. It was very satisfying. I picked up a fair bit of money that night too, which was good because like I bet on myself. I put $1,000 on myself that night, and I won. So it was good. I was just lucky I got through Adam Taranenko after that because it was a tournament of super matches, and after I beat Evan, I had to then beat Adam, who was much more fresh than I was, but it was okay. My endurance came through. Honest question from Uncommon Sense. Honest question. At this point, would Danny Tesh still give Lachlan a run for his money, or has Danny fallen off too far? No, no, he wouldn't give Lachlan a run for his money at all. Danny is not active in arm wrestling. The word on the street is he weighs about 82 kilos. So, no, not a chance. That said, I think he could contend for the Australian 80-kilo title. I'd actually love to see him come back and pull Sam Burnett on a super match for money and for an Australian title. That would be amazing. I think that he could do it. Hey guys, whilst I've got you here and I'm just reading through your comments, can I ask you all a favor? Could you hit that like button for me? I can see we've got 126 in here at the moment with 46 likes on it. Let's see if we can get that one up for me. That'd mean the world to me. I appreciate all your support and you guys being here. So hit that like button for me. That would be awesome. And as I go back to reading your comments, what else we got? Yes, the Beaver Pumper was there. The old good old Beaver Pumper. If you haven't seen some of his action, man, he's got some of the quirkiest YouTube action going on in arm wrestling. The Beaver Pumper. Thank you to everyone hitting that like button. I can see it tearing up nice and quickly. Appreciate that, guys. That sort of stuff really helps. Believe it or not, it's one of the easiest ways you guys can help a channel grow and get the sport in front of people who haven't seen it before. Is hitting that like button. All right, as we approach the hour, guys, I'm going to stick around for about another 10 minutes, and then we're going to call it. I think you can probably hear my kids in the background. My Bradley's got a buddy over, so I apologize if that sound's coming through. This microphone is so sensitive, picks up everything, and they're having a good laugh outside. Skeptical comes in with another super chat. Thank you very much, man. He says, how important is squaring the shoulder? I see in WL they carve their shoulder really deep, and it's okay, but in PAL they're very strict on shoulder square. Look, skeptical. Carving the shoulder is definitely something that increases your own access to power. Um, Refereeing and whether they carve or allow carve is really going to, as long as they do it evenly, it's okay. But if they're allowing one athlete to have it whilst the other athlete's not, then that's definitely a red flag. Um, the reason what it does, it really enhances your side pressure. It really enhances your ability to force a hook if you're coming forward. It even really enhances your ability to launch into a pronated top roll offense. Carving your shoulder really just connects the chain. When you have to be out here and straight or parallel to the side of the table, you're on your bicep. So there's no shoulder and side pressure supporting your bicep. So having your shoulder square is yeah, it is an important factor. As long as it's consistency, I don't mind a bit of carve, and most people get away with a bit of carve in most matches. Most people do. They just even in the PAL, most people get some degree of carving. But it is a factor, and as long as it's balanced, I'm okay with it. Uncommon Sense says, I'm finding it annoying that Chance Shaw is getting all this attention when you beat him clearly in 2019. It was actually 2020. Do you feel you're being overlooked? Yeah, so I beat Chance Shaw in February of 2020. Uncommon Sense. Yeah, it was a good match. It was my last international match that I've had, and yeah, I beat him 4-2. I don't feel like I'm being overlooked. That's all right. The internet is always keen to judge you on your last performance, and my last performance was against Lachlan, and that was yeah, kick my ass. Lachlan, I think, is considerably ahead of Chance, in my opinion. But yeah, I beat Chance Shaw, and despite Lachlan beating me considerably, styles make matches at the end of the day, and Lachlan knows me well, so Lachlan was able to shut down what I can do. People who don't know me as well as Lachlan knows me are much more vulnerable to my game, and there are certain sets of strengths that I have that are genuinely dangerous. So if I was to pull Chance again, I'm sure Chance would be bloody nervous because he knows that I know how to beat him. So there'd be adjustments from both of us. But yeah, look, I'd back myself again. I really would. The weight difference doesn't really bother me. He was a lot heavier than me when I pulled him at the time. So that's all good. And but like I said, I'm not too worried about being overlooked. I've got my match. Rob is the Everest that I'm climbing right now, and I'm very excited about it. I have the game plan in place. I've seen Rob lose rounds to Justin Bishop, lose rounds to Craig Touye, lose rounds to Storm Chelino, lose rounds to Jordan Sill. And like I said, Rob's speaking very confidently from a high place right now of 230 pounds or maybe even more. He has to come all the way down to 210. And you watch that confidence just start to evaporate as he does. Because I'm at 210 right now. I'm good to go. I'm ready. Let's rock and roll. Ready. All 9 inches of my wrist that he doesn't think grows. um, yeah, so it's all good. I don't feel like I'm being overlooked. It's all good. Alex McDonald says I should pay Danny to make a video with you. I feel like how legendary he's become. It could be a huge video. I agree, man. I'll be honest with you. I've offered him $500 to come sit in a video with me. No response. That was his answer. Didn't even get a response. Chance Shaw, who's he pulling? He's pulling Sanders. He's pulling Sanders. It's a dangerous match for Chance. I think Sanders is the favorite. Has to be the favorite. Probably will win it. Sanders has got a much more well-rounded game. Chance has a very large weapon in his pronated back pressure. Is very, very, very strong. I think Chance's vulnerability is his hand and wrist. If Sanders takes control of his hand and wrist up top, it'll be over. I don't think Sanders wants to try to hook Chance. John got stomped in that one start, in the restart round of round one, when he tried to hook him. So I think that's the one zone you don't go. I got stomped by Chance when I tried to hook him. Round one, I tried to hook Chance, and I was like, whoa, okay, no. But then his wrist up top is vulnerable. I think it's his wrist rise. He's got a great low hand, but if you attack if you climb over his hand, he struggles to keep his knuckles up and subsequently be in the game. Do I think Todd would beat Sanders? Yes, I do. The chance match was dictated by buckle and refereeing. Yes, it was very much so. Neither of us realized that the old unfair strap was being utilized, and the unfair strap just really enhances the top roll of whoever is on the good side. So I won all 3 rounds when I had that, and Chance won only 2. Chance elbow fouled, significant elbow fouls too. By that time, I'd recognized and felt in the match that, look, being on this side of the table is freaking awful. In that round that I won on the bad side, I didn't fight for my hand. I hit hard into side pressure and engaged my shoulder and tried to just maintain a defensive posture that was going to require zero hand because I knew that my hand was going to go if I tried the top roll. So I did that, and Chance dragged good 1.5 2 inches off the back of the pad to pin me, and the down referee called it, and then he did it even worse in the restart. So I don't care who you are. If had Chance have kept his elbow on the pad that in that round, I was going to win it. There's a reason why he elbow fouled, because he had to. You can't give anyone an excuse to say, "Oh yeah, the refereeing was bad. They would have won it." No, he elbow fouled because he had to. So I won that match 4-2. Sarah and Gabby will be awesome as well. Yeah, those two are probably the most marketable 2 female athletes in arm wrestling, and they're awesome. Gabby obviously did incredibly well, actually breaking Sarah last time they faced in the WAL. So it'll be Sarah's chance for redemption, Gabby's chance for just reiterating that she is the king or the queen of the table in that respect, and that'll be awesome. They're both 2 killer ladies. I don't think I've obviously met Sarah. I haven't met Gabby, not in person, but I've spoken a lot to Gabby, so I look forward to meeting her in person in Dubai. Does Chance have a path to victory against Todd? Alex McDonald asking lots of good questions. Yes, one, but it's only outside of straps and if Todd makes an error. I say that because hooking Chance, like I said, is a hard day. John got stomped when he tried to hook Chance. I got stomped when he tried to hook Chance. Todd is probably the best of the hookers, but if he gets the lane wrong, if Todd outside of straps in round 1 looks to come in, which he will, because let's face it, Todd's not going to top roll him, but Todd may respect Chance's power enough that he says, "I better get the straps." And if it goes to straps, Todd wins all of them. But if Todd chooses to hold on to Chance outside of straps, there is a chance that he misses the groove and gets flattened. Round 2, I don't think he'd miss the groove. He'd then know where the groove is exactly, and he'd just go there. So the worst case scenario I can see is Chance or is Todd winning 3-1. Skeptical. How pro arm wrestlers cheat in a match and get away. Skeptical. I don't know how experienced you are as an arm wrestler. I'm picking up the vibe that you're fairly new to the sport and you're asking these questions because you're searching. The answer to that is really in the little things that matter. So there's no such thing as cheating. I think I'm someone that is firmly of the opinion that the referees are all in the same opportunity. Manipulating the start position is part of the game, and then there's just little things. Like I said, if you fight, arm wrestling is a lot about not necessarily going where you're strong. Arm wrestling is often about taking your opponent where they are weak or uncomfortable and not connected to their own power. You're going to know where your opponent's power is. Is it in a deep hook? Is it in rising back pressure? Is it in rotation in the hand? There's going to be a whole variation of where someone's strong. And the key to defeating a lot of people, particularly someone who's physically stronger than you, is to simply dictate and deny that lane that is their strength. So part of that process is setting up in a strap, is setting up with a referee to make other lanes the lane that it ends up in. And I don't consider any of this cheating. I consider this, the, I call it wizardry or dark arts, if whichever way you're inclined. I consider this the technicalities. It's like a miniature martial art. What's going on? It isn't just as simple as gripping and going. It is very, very fine and very, very interesting in the way that it's just little tiny bits, webbing up, slight supination, retracting thumb, bunching up your thumb, uh, bending your wrist just slightly, supinating under during the strap, angling in, angling out, lowering the height, raising the height. Like there's a million different combinations of things you can do, and none of that's cheating. That's all called fine tuning your awareness and your refinement of how to be an arm wrestler. So all those things. Oh, what's going on? ANC says, shout out, please, Ryan. There you go. I saw it, brother. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I agree. Jared T says it's not cheating, it's having good arm wrestling IQ. 100%. I'm with you on that. And that's what I want to share with Larry. I want to share the subtle pressures that matter most. Larry's really strong, but he's yet to taste and discover the smorgasbord of subtle pressures and their values. Um, like Yeah, that's what someone like Larry needs. But anyway, that's what we all need. I've always said, trust the strength will come. Avoid the temptation of fundamental strength. It's been a philosophy of mine. And as silly as that sounds, like you say, hang on, what? You don't want fundamental strength? Of course you want fundamental strength, but you don't want to rely on it. I'd prefer to rely first on the little tiny obscure strengths that matter most, because those strengths amplify your fundamental strength. The bigger your fundamental strength comes, the more clouded you are in using these little things. So focus on the little things, train on the little things, refine those little things, become strong in those little things, and you will find yourself being balanced with competitors that are physically, fundamentally, so much stronger than you. And that's been my experience so far in arm wrestling. I've always been balanced with guys that I stand next to. You just know they're fundamentally stronger than I am. And I might take this as the last super chat. One comes in from Ryan Begley, and then I'm going to wrap it up, guys. We've been here a little bit over the hour mark now. Audio is considerably better than last two videos, Ryan. We all appreciate your investment and attention to arm wrestling content. Man, thank you so much, Daniel Begley. And thank you, Daniel. I know you commented last on my last video to help me refine that as well. I do appreciate everyone's comments when it comes to refining it. We had disco lights that were terrible. We got rid of them. We've got a nice continuous light now. And thank you for the feedback that the mic stuff is all. I had the mic turned up too loud before. I've added a compression to it this time, Daniel. So hopefully no spikes of my voice are going to interfere and become distorted. So I appreciate that. I also last time I had this mic on as well to mix it in. And now I've got rid of that. So I'm just on this mic here, which is the most expensive mic I've ever bought. What is it? I don't even know what the brand is. Anyway, it cost me $450, but I was told it's a good mic, and everyone likes it who has one. So thank you, Daniel Begley, for your support. And like I said, thank you to everyone who is supporting the channel and the content. I will continue to invest into the sport, be it through equipment to present it to the world or through prize money to athletes, flying athletes out, all sorts of stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun on this channel in the months and years ahead. and I can't wait to bring it to you all. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in for the live. Thank you to all the people who super chatted. You guys are supercharging this channel. And guys, thank you to everyone who just commented. I really enjoyed the chat today. Lots of good stuff. I really enjoy the speculation around the Jordan Davis outcome and Arm Wars Ironhouse. Let's keep that going because hopefully, if we talk about it enough, Neil will release that as the first video off the first cab off the rank. So once again, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.